Hello everyone. This is the first of two videos covering the topic of school for the IELTS Speaking Part 1 questions. Learn how to enrich your IELTS Speaking Part 1 responses by seamlessly integrating idioms, particularly when talking about your school or education. Then you need to develop your own example sentences, practice, and record yourself speaking. Let's dive in. If you find value in today's video, please subscribe. And for more videos like this, please leave a like. This channel is the home of IELTS guides for tips about how to achieve higher IELTS scores. Please like, subscribe, and comment. Why are idioms important? Using idioms correctly in the IELTS speaking test can increase your score by demonstrating your proficiency, cultural understanding, and ability to speak naturally. The Speaking Band 9 descriptor for lexical resource reads, sustained use of accurate idiomatic language. It also highlights, topic development is fully coherent and appropriately extended. You can download these descriptors from the website listed. You'll see a link in the description of the video. What are English idioms? These are words that together have a meaning that is different from the dictionary definitions of individual words. For example, burning the midnight oil suggests studying or working late into the night, not burning oil at midnight.
Burning the midnight oil?
Back burning the midnight oil, I see.
How you doing, sir? Burning the midnight oil.
Let's divide the topic, school or education, into 4 subtopics. We'll select challenges, relationships, changes, and technology. As you learned in earlier videos, we search for vocabulary to answer IELTS Speaking Part 1 questions related to these subtopics for education. We use idioms to enhance our scores, as well as transitional words and phrases, highlighted in red, to create powerful links between ideas. Let's now analyze some answers to sample IELTS questions. Question: did you face challenges with studying?
Yes, I face challenges as a student. While I'm pretty book smart and do well in academic subjects, I sometimes struggle with practical skills. For instance, in science classes, I easily grasp the theoretical concepts but find the lab experiments more challenging. It's a balancing act to develop both book knowledge and hands-on skills.
This response effectively includes the idiom book smart, which refers to academic learning, demonstrating the candidate's ability to use idiomatic language appropriately, a key aspect for a Band 9 score. The answer is coherent, detailing the candidate's experience with both theoretical and practical aspects of education. The use of transitions like for instance and but aids in creating a narrative that is easy to follow, reflecting the structured and clear expression that is expected for achieving a high band in IELTS speaking.
Book smarts with your words and your storytelling. You think you sit at God's right hand.
Book smart, maybe, but not always smart where it counts.
And I am street smart and book smart.
Question: how has technology changed the way you learn in college?
Well, I'd say technology has really enabled me to think outside the box in educational settings. For example, with interactive software, I can simulate experiments that would otherwise be too complex or expensive to conduct in a traditional classroom. This innovative approach not only enhances my learning but also encourages problem-solving and creative thinking.
This response uses the idiom think outside the box appropriately, which refers to thinking creatively and differently. The candidate integrate idiomatic language into their answers naturally, aligning with Band 9 idiomatic criteria. The use of a filler provides a conversational tone, and the transition phrase, for example, smoothly guides the response from a general opinion to a specific illustration. The candidate's ability to expand on the topic with clear examples demonstrates the extended answer development.
Gotta think outside the box, sister.
Sometimes you have to think outside the box.
Outreach programs to inspire children in school to think outside the box.
Question: what do you like about modern educational methods of learning?
Well, I'd say I'm a bit old school when it comes to learning. I find traditional classroom lectures more effective than online modules. There's something about the direct interaction with teachers and classmates that enhances my understanding.
This answer uses old school to convey a preference for traditional learning methods, meeting Band 9 criteria. It shows the candidate's ability to naturally incorporate idiomatic language. The idiom implies a fondness for conventional or established practices. The response is structured with a filler for a conversational tone and transitions smoothly between ideas.
He's old school. He understands situation.
Question: what did you not like about your high school years?
Well, there was always one student in my class who was known as the teacher's pet. They were always eager to answer questions and stay behind to help clear the board. It was clear they had a special rapport with the teacher, which often encouraged jealousy in me and among other classmates.
This response utilizes the idiom teacher's pet, which refers to a student who is favored by the teacher, in a contextually appropriate way. This idiom is naturally integrated in the context, a characteristic of a Band 9 score. The filler well adds a conversational tone, and the transition, which often encouraged, links the personal observation to a broader classroom impact, demonstrating the extended development of an answer. The response is coherent and well-structured, meeting the criteria for high-level performance in IELTS speaking.
I guess we know who's the teacher's pet.
Scott! Oh, grow up.
My grades were just as good, but everyone knew they were going to give the award to the teacher's pet.
Question: did you like attending your educational institution?
Well, I must admit, there were a few times I cut class during my first year at university. It was mainly during subjects I found less engaging, but I quickly learned that it's crucial to attend all lectures. Missing classes made catching up really difficult, and I wouldn't recommend it.
This response uses the idiom cut class to describe intentionally missing classes, meeting Band 9 criteria by showing the candidate's ability to naturally use idiomatic language related to school challenges. The idiom conveys skipping classes deliberately. The answer begins with a conversational filler and transitions effectively between ideas, structuring an extended, coherent answer.
Same reason we don't shoplift or cut class. It's a curse.
Sometimes, when Byron tried to cut class, he got busted and dragged to school.
Question: what do you like about the use of technology in education?
Well, I believe there's a need to go back to basics in education. While technology is beneficial, I believe fundamental skills like critical thinking and problem solving often thrive in traditional learning environments. This balance is key to a well-rounded education.
This response adeptly uses back to basics to express a preference for fundamental, traditional learning methods over a solely technology-focused approach. It meets Band 9 criteria by showing the candidate's skill in using idiomatic language to articulate a balanced educational perspective. The idiom suggests a return to simple, core principles of learning. The answer begins with a conversational filler and transitions smoothly between ideas in creating an extended, coherent response.
And what we're going to do over the next 2 weeks, if the rest of my staff ever shows up, is go back to basics.
Let's go back to basics.
Question: did you continue your education after graduation?
Well, yes, I've definitely graduated from the School of Hard Knocks in a few instances. Like when I started my part-time job, it wasn't anything I had learned in a classroom, but rather real-world experience that taught me about responsibility and hard work. Those lessons were tough but invaluable, and they've given me a practical perspective that complements my academic knowledge.
This response effectively employs the idiom School of Hard Knocks, which means education from real-world, real-life experiences as opposed to formal education. Correct use of the idiom relevant to life's practical lessons is indicative of a Band 9 score. The conversational filler well and the transition like when help to structure the response into a narrative format, demonstrating the candidate's skill in extending their answers and providing a cohesive development of ideas.
I matriculated at the School of Hard Knocks.
And there you have it. Integrating idioms into your IELTS Speaking Part 1 responses can add color and depth to your answers. Remember, the key is understanding their meanings and using them appropriately. If you would like to learn about using idioms appropriately for other topics, leave a comment below. Speak. Record your sentences. Keep practicing. Any questions? Leave in the comments for this video below. Thank you for watching. If you have questions or need clarification on applying these techniques, especially regarding the IELTS criteria, leave your questions below. I'm here to support your journey to IELTS success.